Am I the asshole for pushing back on my manager's feedback and having him escalate it to HR? So I'm a customer service rep at a mid-sized company and I just got done with a review session where my manager, Delilah, was giving me some tough love. I'd been making some mistakes on calls, which is understandable, but what really bothered me was that Delilah kept bringing up an old conversation I had with one of our clients, Cruz, about 6 months ago. She claimed I'd made a big mistake and that it's still affecting my performance today, but the thing is, Cruz never told me that, at least, not in any way that would be relevant to my current work. I tried to address this with Delilah during the review, explaining that she was misremembering or misinterpreting what happened. But instead of listening and acknowledging her mistake, she just kept pushing the point and telling me I needed to own up to it. She said something like, "If you can't even recall a simple conversation from 6 months ago, how do we know you're competent?" I felt like she was trying to guilt-trip me into accepting her feedback without questioning its validity. Delilah then escalated the issue to our manager's manager, Brennan, who called me in for a separate meeting. He told me that Delilah had raised concerns about my performance and that we needed to address them before I could continue working on calls. When I asked him what specific issues he was concerned about, he just kept repeating the same vague criticisms that Delilah had made during the review. I left both meetings feeling frustrated and defensive, like I'd done nothing wrong. Now I'm wondering if I overreacted by pushing back on Delilah's feedback, but at the same time, it feels like she was trying to bully me into accepting her opinions without any actual merit. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for telling my friend Jasper that I couldn't be their emotional support anymore because it was affecting my mental health? So I, 19M, and here's what happened. I've been friends with Jasper since high school, and we've always been close. We live together in an apartment that's basically just a large house divided into two parts, one side belongs to me, the other to him. For months now, I've been helping Jasper deal with some major depression he got from his breakup. It was pretty intense stuff, and sometimes it would spill over into my life too. Jasper would show up at my door unannounced, cry on my shoulder, or just talk to me for hours about his feelings. I felt bad for him, but to be honest, it was exhausting. The other day, Jasper asked me how much money he could borrow, literally hundreds of dollars, without making me feel like I'm being taken advantage of. At first, I said no because I didn't want to be responsible for covering his expenses. But then Priya, our mutual friend and confidant, started talking about how she was worried that I was enabling Jasper's behavior. She said something like, "Dude, you're basically taking care of him more than your own mental health." That really got under my skin because it felt like Priya was right, maybe too right. I told Jasper the other night that I needed some space, and he freaked out on me. He said things like, "You're just not trying hard enough," or, "If you loved me, you'd do this for me." And honestly, those words hurt because they felt like he was dismissing my boundaries. Now we barely talk to each other. I know it's not an easy situation, but I feel like Jasper is still expecting me to be there for him all the time. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for finally setting a boundary with my boss after they kept messaging me out of hours? So I, 32F, and here's what happened. I've been working as a freelance graphic designer for Harlow, a marketing firm, for about 6 months now. We had an agreement that I'd be available to respond to emails and messages during work hours, which is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. However, over the past few weeks, Cash, my boss, has been consistently reaching out to me outside of those hours. At first, I thought it was no big deal, maybe they needed some urgent info or had a question about a project. But as time went on, these messages started to be more frequent and less work-related. They'd ask me for advice on personal things, like what to get Sloan for her birthday. Sloan is Harlow's partner. I tried to politely brush them off, saying something like, "I'm happy to help when you're in the office," or "Can we discuss this during work hours?" But Cash just kept pushing. The final straw came last night when I received a message at 10 p.m. asking me if I'd be willing to design some flyers for Sloan's event next weekend. I was already exhausted from a long day of work and didn't have any extra energy or creativity left over. I decided that I wasn't going to respond, hoping that Cash would get the hint. But this morning, they sent me another message saying, "Oh, come on, Harlow. You can just take an hour off tonight," implying that I was being unreasonable. I finally lost it when they asked me if I'd be willing to work overtime again for no additional pay. That's when I stopped responding to their messages and told them I needed some space. I know this might come across as dramatic, but honestly, I'm just tired of being available 24/7 for someone who doesn't respect my boundaries. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for setting boundaries with my friends and cutting off all contact after they consistently only reached out when they needed something from me? So I, 26F, and here's what happened. I've been trying to cut back on my spending lately, having saved up around $500 in the past year. That's a significant amount of money for me. Anyway, one day Simone texts me saying she needs a new phone and wants me to help her out by lending it to her until she can get a new one. I politely tell her no, explaining that I'm trying to be more financially responsible. The next week, Nate reaches out asking if he can borrow my car for a weekend trip with Cash, who just got back from traveling abroad and wants to show him some good deals on electronics they saw online. Nate has been having some financial troubles lately and owes us both money from the past few months. I explained to him that while I'm happy to help friends in need, I've already set a budget for myself this year and can't afford to lend him my car. A couple days later, Simone texts me again. This time it's not just asking for something, but also making a comment about how really selfish of me to say no. She says that we always help each other out when they need money or favors, but never do the same for her. I tell her I understand where she's coming from, but being honest with myself, our friendship has been pretty one-sided lately. As the days go by, Nate and Simone continue to reach out to me asking for small loans or favors. It gets frustrating because I feel like they're not respecting my boundaries. When I tell them no, they get upset and say things like "you're always so cold" or that I'm not a good friend. The final straw comes when Cash asks me if he can use some of my leftover money from the past year to pay off Nate's debt again. I politely tell him no. Am I the asshole for setting boundaries with my friends and cutting off all contact after they consistently only reached out when they needed something from me?